Hello students, so today we are going to discuss new chapter, tissue and level of organization. What is tissue? So before proceeding that, we should know the base, that is cell. What is cell? Cell is the fundamental unit of living organism. It includes structural and functional units. Tissues, a group of cells or cluster of cells are called as tissues. Living organism in this world comprises of cells. They are unicellular as well as the multicellular organism present in this world. In unicellular organism, only single cell is capable of performing such function or respiration, digestion and clearing of the cell, that is excretion too. Now in multicellular organism, there is a division of labor. There are different types of cell as well as the group of the cells which have the different performing function. So that is in multicellular organism. So unicellular organism, it is a single celled organism, whereas in multicellular, it refers to many. In many multicellular, it means what? Group of cells. So definitely there will be the tissues. So we're going to discuss more in detail. Multicellular organisms are made up of millions of cells. So these cells are grouped together to form tissue. Cells show division of labor and each cell performs a particular function efficiently. Such cells are grouped together and is called tissue. So what is tissue? A group of cell or cluster of cell form tissue. In other term, tissue is a group of cells that are similar in structure and origin. So what is origin? It comes from same parent cell and performs similar function. Tissues are a group of cells that have a similar structure and act together to perform a specific function. Next we move on to what is the utility of tissue in multicellular organism. So what is multicellular organism? Multi, it means many. It has millions of cells inside the one particular organism. Each group of cell is called tissue and it performs a special function efficiently. I'm just keep on repeating these words, so please keep up this word. Example, muscle cells that helps in contract and relaxation to bring movement, nerve cells which carry the message, and blood which are fluid tissues to connect all the tissues inside the living organisms. So these are the characteristic features of tissues which is performed by muscle, nerve and blood. In plants, vascular tissue, that is xylem and phloem, which helps to conduct water and food from one part of the plant to other parts. So multicellular organism shows division of labor. So in animal, we were studied about tissues which are muscle cells which brings the contraction between and the relaxation between to bring up the movements, whereas the nerve cells which carry the message. In animal, the vascular tissue, that is xylem and phloem, we were discussed in this slide. Importance of tissue. Formation of tissues has brought about division of labor in multicellular organism. Tissue become organized to form organ and organs into organ system. So cell to tissue, tissue to organ, organ to organ system. So this will be the diagrammatic flow chart. So group of cells are called tissue, group of tissue are called organ, where organ do a different types of function, it results in organ system. Workload of individual cell are decreased due to origin of tissues. As a result of improved organization and higher efficiency, multicellular organisms have higher survival. Next we move on to classification of tissue. Tissues are broadly classified as animal tissue and plant tissue. So tissues are of two types, one is animal and other one is plant tissues. So what is the difference between plant tissue and animal tissue? Plants do not move, so the tissue are predominantly the ones that provide support to them so they can stand erect. So plants are sessile in nature, so they no need any locomotion at all. So the plants will be like erect and stand in one position. For that, the tissue is adapted like that and it provides support to them. Animal tissue. Animal need more energy as compared to plant because they are not stationary. That is, animals can move from one place to another. Their tissues are the one that can support movement. So in animal tissue, the tissues helps in movement. These tissues are made up of dead cells because dead cells can also provide mechanical strength to the plant and do not require much maintenance. Whereas in animal tissue, the tissue in case of animals are made up of living cells so that they can move and perform several functions. In plant tissue, only certain part of the plant can grow. The tissue present in such regions and divide themselves and form new tissues. Whereas in animal, cells in animals grow uniform, early, and not only in certain region of the body. Next, we move on to plant tissue. The structure of plant tissue is not very specialized as compared to animal, whereas the organ and organ system in animals are highly developed. So this will be the differentiate between plant tissue and animal tissue. In this diagrammatic slide, you can study about the plant tissue system. So here it is categorized into three types, that is dermal tissue, vascular tissue and ground tissue. So it is clearly given in this diagram, so have a look. Pause the video and have the look. Plant tissue. Plant tissues are of two types. One is meristem and other one is long lasting, that is a simple tissue and complex tissue. Whereas meristem is a cell can divide by its own. That is the apical, intercallar or lateral are the types of meristem. Whereas in long-lasting tissue, that is in plant tissue, it's divided into simple and complex. In simple tissue, only one cell type, that is ground tissue, and supporting tissues called parenchyma and collenchyma. Whereas in complex tissue, it can be more than one cell type, that is the cells can be divided and it have the protection, support and vascular. So protection is done by the epidermis and periderm. Support, it's by sclerenchyma, whereas vascular, that is phloem and xylem. In this slide, it mentioned the animal tissue flow chart. That is, the animal tissues are categorized into four types. That is epithelial, muscular, connective and nervous. Whereas epithelial tissues are of five types. They are squamous, cuboidal, columnar, ciliated and glandular. Next is about muscular. Muscular again is divided into three types, striated, smooth and cardiac. Connective tissues, it includes fluid, skeletal and proper. So totally it will be like blood, lymph, bone, cartilage, areola, adipose, ligament, tendon. And final one will be the nervous system. That is nervous cell. The classification of plant tissue are mainly based on two important criteria. On the basis of the part of the plant, on the basis of the type of cells. So the classification of plant tissues are divided into two important criteria. So the first one will be the part of the plants and other one will be the types of cell. Plants are immobile and henceforth have been provided with tissues made up of dead cells which provide structural strength. They have to endure unfavorable environmental situations like strong winds, storms, floods, etc. A tissue is a cluster of cells that are alike in configuration and work together to attain a specific function. Different types of plant tissue include permanent and meristematic tissues. Plant tissues are broadly categorized into three tissue systems. This classification is on the basis of part of the plant. They are epidermis tissue, vascular tissue and ground tissue. Epidermis tissue, the cells formed from the outermost layer of the leaves. Vascular tissue, it involved in transporting fluid and nutrients internally. Ground tissue, it involved in producing nutrients by photosynthesis and preserve nutrients. Plant tissues is divided into two types. So this classification is based on the types of cell. So they are meristematic tissue and other one is permanent tissue. So this will be the diagrammatic view of meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Students, now we are moving on to the question session. First question, what are the main difference between cheek cell and onion peel cell? So just think about the two types of cells. Yes, just pause the video and think. Yes, I'm just going to reveal my answer. Yes, yes. So onion cell and cheek cell. So first you should think about the type of cell. So onion cells comes under the plant cell, whereas cheek cells comes under the animal cell. So this will be the first category. And second one, based on the cell wall. So if it is a animal and plant, what will be the major difference? Yes, the cell wall is absent in animal cell, whereas cell wall which is present in plant cell. Next question. Okay, so first question is over. We are moving to the next question. Name the branch of biology which deals with the study of tissue. Yes. So study of tissue, just think. Yes. I'm just going to reveal my answer. Yes, it is histology. So histology means study of tissue. Next we move on to third question, that is what is tissue? Simple one. Yes. Check the answer. A group of cells performing the similar function which combines to form tissue. On a broad basis, tissues are categorized into two types. One is plant tissue and other one is animal tissue. Just check the answer. If you said all the correct answer, you just give clap. In this session, we studied about what is tissue, what are the types of tissue, that is the plant tissue and animal tissue. So here we studied about the relationship between the cell and the organ. In between there is a tissue which shows a major functions. Hence, the study of tissue is called histology, where it supports us in cell biology at all levels.